Welcome back to Lit Like a Campfire. I'm Connor, and today we're going to be talking about our new series coming out. I know, it's been a while. So, hello again, YouTube. About 10 essentials. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions from mates and people I meet about what gear should you bring. They're trying to get outside more. They're bored being locked up in their house, and they're trying to socially distance outdoors and take care of their physical health while being outside. But what's really important, more than just keeping physically fit, is actually keeping yourself physically safe, because your physical fitness isn't going to keep you safe. And these 10 essentials are 10 things you should always keep on you when going outside, no matter if you're going on a mountain bike ride, if you're just going on a hike in the woods, or if you're throwing the pack on and heading out for a little mountaineering trip. So this is video number 1. It's going to be about a 12 video segment, including this video, about each essential item, how to use it and operate it in the basics, why you should carry it, some gear options, and then the last video will include how I like to carry these items in most situations kind of easily without taking up a bunch of space and having a really heavy load, as well as a few extra bonus items that I personally think are super important for you to carry out in the wilderness. So let's get started. Now, before I go on explaining you, kind of showing you some quick examples and listing out what the 10 essentials are, we need to understand what is essential. Now, these items are essential for a really important reason, and that's in order to keep you safe and give you the ability to survive once something actually goes wrong. So when we're considering these things essential, we're considering them essential to your survival, your defense, your health, and to aid you and give you information to be able to get yourself out or to be able to have someone actually come and find you. Now, this is really important because accidents happen all the time. And if we're mountain biking, if we're going hiking a bunch, no matter if we're in a large group or a small group, accidents just happen. It's part of life. And in the wilderness, stuff is going to go wrong. You're not going to be prepared for everything, no matter how much I really wish I was. And you're also going to have your plans get thrown to the wind. Seriously, the wind has taken my plans away before. But what's really important is your ability to adapt, use these 10 basic tools, these 10 basic items to help you survive and overcome those situations. Start off with item number 1. It's actually considered 2 or 3 items, so it's a map and compass, and with that I include a pen, or in this case a Sharpie, one of my favorites. Before you even think about going out the door, heading out into the wilderness, you need to have a plan. You need to know where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, your chances of being able to return or get out or not get lost is very, very low. So you need a map of where you're going. You need to know where you're going, have markings made on the map, as well as a compass to use with that map. Now, we're going to talk in the next video about how to actually make up a map, how to print a map, how to use and read a map, as well as how to use a map with a compass, and how to use a compass without a map. Now, compass and map, they go together, they count kind of as one item. But my other tip here, as you saw, is I take my maps and I put them in a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bags are super cheap, and it gives them some waterproofing, because my printer doesn't print waterproof paper. It's expensive, but this way I can stack a couple maps, a few extras in here as well if I need them for anyone I meet on the trail. And they go in my chest pocket, in my pack, in my pant pocket, wherever I need. And I always carry that with me because I don't want to get turned around, or if I do get turned around, because it's going to happen, I know how to get myself out. So number 2 is what you're going to actually need in the field and is a key part of survival, and that's going to be water. Now, you guys all know humans can only live about 3 days, and that's plus or minus a day or more, depending on the person. It's not really plus anymore, though. It's kind of just minus. So you need to have water. You need to stay hydrated. So plan how much water you need. Everybody pretty much in the outdoor world kind of has had an Nalgene that they've loved and abused. You put stickers on them. They're really tough. You can beat them up, and they work great. They're clear, so you can see how much water you have left in there. The other thing sometimes is some type of water filter, so a life straw or something, because in case I need to filter my own water, I drink all this water, I have some other option while I'm out there hiking or mountain biking, I just don't want to be thirsty, and I definitely don't want to die from not having water. Number 3 is almost just as critical as water, but not as quite. And that's going to be food. So bring some trail snacks. You don't need to have a 5-course meal packed with you. You don't need to have a stove and pots and an oven and 2 microwaves and a popcorn popper and a blender in case I want a smoothie. No, we're talking keeping it simple. So some trail snacks, such as some little nut packs here. These has a pretty good amount of calories. As well, I like carrying these Cliff Builder bars. They're about double the amount of protein and calories of a normal Cliff Bar. They weigh just a tad more, and I think they're more delicious than a Cliff Bar, so they get the win from me. But this will give me enough food for quite a while, because we can survive quite a while longer without food than we can with water. So remember, bring some trail food, some snacks. Plus, you just don't want to be hangry when you're outside. Now, number 4 on my list, and I'm kind of listing these in importance in my opinion, is a handy dandy first aid kit. Now, you can get first aid kits really cheap. You can make one up, but it's really important because we get scrapes, we get cuts, we trip, we fall, you know. Maybe you don't, at least I do. So I make sure I have a first aid kit with me. This one has a nice little waterproof bag, and I keep some other goodies, some extra gloves, some extra moleskin for blisters inside there, as well with all my essential first aid needs. Now, if I'm going on a longer trek, I remember that this little first aid kit might not be enough, or I might want to carry a few other things because I know there's not really a likelihood that someone is going to be able to easily help me in those situations. So I have to become a little bit more self-sufficient and a little more prepared. But make sure most definitely you have a first aid kit with you. Don't leave home without one. Well, if you're going to the grocery store, maybe you can go without a first aid kit. Now, number 5 comes flashlights. Now, every day it gets dark outside, almost everywhere. Not everywhere, but almost everywhere. So you need to be able to see in the night, you need to see for hazards, and you can also use a light for a ton of other things. So there's wonderful headlamps out there, as well as little tiny pin lights that light up really bright, especially for how small they are. You can use these lights to signal, as well as do a bunch of other things, which we'll talk about in another video, not today. But choose some sort of light you feel you're really going to use, you're really comfortable using, and something that you can easily replace or charge the battery on. Now, going along with lights comes item number 6. Because at the end of the day, we all need to stay warm. We need to keep ourselves warm in nature because we definitely don't want to freeze. We don't want to get hypothermia. So we need fire. Now, the good old trusted standard I have is a good old flint and steel. And this will just create sparks, and you can pretty much find something that'll burn almost anywhere. So it's really reliable. If it gets wet, it works. If it gets stepped on, it works. There's nothing that can really go wrong with it besides you losing it. As well, if I have a little more extra space, I'll try to take some instant or quick fire starter here. This is kind of a paste one in case stuff's wet, or it's raining, or it's snowing, or it's muddy. It can be really hard to find dry tinder. Not that you can't. This just makes life a little bit easier when you're already in a tough pickle. And you can always use some good old handy dandy matches. I prefer matches over a lighter, and we'll talk about it in a little video, but they're really, really useful. They're easy to use, and they're pretty lightweight. Now, item number 6 is you need to have a knife with you. Some sort of pocket knife. It can be a fixed blade knife. It can be a sheath knife for hunting. It could be a larger all-around survival knife, a Leatherman style multi-tool, or a Swiss Army knife. And you know, knives are cool, so you might as well just carry all of these. Well, not really. They're heavy, and we really do like knives because they're cool and they're super, super useful. But in different situations, we need to realize what knife or what multi-tool suits our needs best and is going to give us the widest options once we're out in the field. So we're going to talk about knives, maybe a bunch, because I like knives. They're cool. They're super useful. Who doesn't like knives? And we're going to talk about what's pluses, minuses, how to take care of them, and how to use them wisely in the field so that you don't damage a tool that you have. Because it really, really hurts when you have a tool and then you break it and you don't have it anymore. Now you're in two pickles. Now, items number 7 through number 10 are all about kind of the same genre. It's all about defense. Now, whoa. I'm not talking you need to go buy a gun or get all crazy with the knives. The knife's a tool. This is about defense from weather. Out in the wilderness, weather and the environment is going to be the biggest thing you have to defend and protect yourself from so that you can survive, get out, and so your trip is comfortable and enjoyable, because no one likes hiking around in wet, mushy, gross socks or underwear or pants. It's just not enjoyable. So first up for protection and defense, this will be item number 7, is rain gear. So rain pants, a rain jacket, an umbrella usually isn't the best thing in the wilderness, as well as we'll talk about some other solutions to keeping yourself dry and comfortable in the rain, because really there is no such thing as bad weather, it's just weather, and we have to be prepared for it. Number 8 isn't really about keeping us dry, but it's more of a second option, either once we get wet or keeping us warm. So I try to always make sure I have some extra clothes and especially some extra socks with me, so that in case I do get wet, in case it gets really cold, I can kind of layer and bundle up and stay warm for the night or the rest of the day. Now finally, number 10 comes in our last defensive and protected items. So sun protection, that's number 10. Now sun protection is really important because the sun, even on a cloudy day, can burn you, it can dehydrate you, it can exhaust you, it can give you heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Those are all really, really bad things. Now sun protection comes in a bunch of different forms, from sunscreens and lip balms to hats to keep the sun off your head, out of your eyes, off your neck, to one of my personal favorites, sunglasses. These are all items to protect you from the sun and protect the sun from messing with and objectifying your senses. So we want to make sure that you can see clearly, that you're not having your senses so distracted from being sunburned or really, really hot that you get lost or have something else go wrong. Now, I know that might have been a lot for today, may have been a little to you. So these are 10 basic ear items, and we'll kind of continue in depth about each of these items and kind of options that you have to choose depending on what type of outdoor activities you're looking at doing, what type of outdoor activities you do, how much space you have in a pack or in your pockets so that you can carry all of these items, as well as actually how to use them. Because yeah, I can carry all this stuff, but if I don't know how to use it, what was the point in really carrying it? So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time.